All right, welcome to week 2. And I had to stop rambling last week, but there are some stuff that I do want to cover in the first few weeks to make sure we are all on the same page. Hopefully, nobody's coming into their build period trying to lose weight. Okay, I know that people do it, but hopefully everybody was smart enough to try to lose their weight and get their diet refined in their base season. If you haven't, or if you're about 80% there, which I would find most athletes tend to come into their build season with, get your diet right now. You do not want to try to be losing weight later, all right? And I really strongly believe not doing calorie restriction, or if you do calorie restriction, make sure you do it correctly. For example, there are oftentimes throughout the year, I'll do fasting days, which means I don't eat for 36 hours, but I also don't work out on those 36 hours as well too. And there's a whole bunch of science about that and why. And as somebody who probably took no days off for about 10 years, I can tell you that when I first started it, it was something that I was very reluctant to do. And it became something I became very addicted to once I tried it because it gave my body an incredible ability to recover. It was able to actually produce more HGH naturally, and then that effect would stay with you for up to 5 days. So if you're interested in that, we have nutrition opportunities for you to learn more about that, but whatever you decide, make sure you're dialing in your nutrition now, not only how you eat every day, but make sure that you are doing the things that you're going to be racing with in your training as well on the days that you need to be. As a general rule of thumb, I tell the athletes that I work with one-on-one, if it's an hour or less, you really don't need anything but water. If it's an hour or more or has intensity, you probably in training need about 200 to 300 calories an hour on the bike, and you'll probably be able to gain around 100 to 200 calories an hour on the run. And for race day, I strongly recommend most average sweaters to be about 500 to 700 milligrams of sodium in that hour as well too. Clearly, again, if you have something that works for you, please do it. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just here to give people a starting point and recommendations of things that have worked for myself. I have some other advanced tips that I could give in another nutrition area, but those are the basics and things that I like to kind of use as my guideline. All right, I didn't cover this last week because we did talk about the run, but I don't ever and will never ask anyone to run more than 20 miles in any 1 week, like at one time. Obviously, you'll run more than 20 miles in a week. But for any one long run, I will not ask you to do 20 miles or longer because the reward for the risk is just not there. If you have like a 7-mile loop that you like to do and it puts you at 21 or whatever, that's fine. But just realize that if you do start getting up around 20 miles, you're good. Okay, you're carrying a lot of cumulative fatigue into those long runs. And so you don't have to push your body over. And I find that when you run over 20 miles, you start to have more recovery demands that take away from other training. And I'd rather you be up for that other training, right? You'll also see that I'd like to do hill training as well. I strongly believe that long course racing is as much or even more about strength than it is about speed. Most people, and hopefully most people here, have done an Ironman because you're in an advanced plan, have never worried about their mile for time split in the last hour of the run. They're worried about, can I hold the pace or can I hold what I hoped to hold? And that all comes down to strength, which is why we incorporate the hills a lot. I will warn you though, if you do run over 6% grade, realize you're probably going to change your form. So that's why I like to limit things to about 6%. And as for the long rides, I write them for about 5 to 5.5 hours. As long as you're getting in that 5-ish to 6, I don't really care. Don't be super strict. And I would say try to replicate the best you can some of the terrain that you're going to see on race day. So if you're going to be doing some hills on race day, try to incorporate some hills. If you don't have hills around you and you're going to go do something that's hilly, then don't stress. Do some big gear work. Do some stuff into the wind. Insert some standing intervals, even at aerobic pace. There's a lot of times inside when I'm on my trainer, I would do like 5 minutes standing big gear, 5 minutes big gear seated, 5 minutes easy spin. And not only would that be good for different muscles, but it would also be good to break it up. So I would rotate through that, or I would do 5-5-5, 4-4-4, 3-3-3, 2-2-2, 1-1-1. Y'all understand. Another thing that you'll see too on a lot of these longer days are I put you in zone 2. And I don't really care who you are. Now for the bike, I've definitely, And in the Kona qualifying plan, you'll see a little bit more aggressiveness at times. But in the bike, I've definitely gone harder on my own training. But I will tell you that for your running, you're never going to probably run faster than your long, easy run pace or your best zone 2 running. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're trying to win your age group. It's going to probably come down to how fast can you run in zone 2, because that's the zone that you can still be processing fats. And you are going to be, especially late in the marathon, out of sugar for all intents and purposes. And it's going to be how far or how fast can you run on that aerobic zone. So again, we're covering a lot, but I know everybody here is more of an advanced athlete, so I'm trying to give more tips along the way, and I will see everybody in week 3.